Building a brand, it's a long process, and a lot of the work goes unnoticed for the general public. They only see the exterior. In a previous video, we talk about everything they're not really gonna see, but they're gonna feel. We talk about the why, the emotional reason and connection that we want to have with our audience, aka the heart. We talk about the structure that we're gonna follow with our project, in this case, content creation, and we talk about our unfair advantages. All of that work, it's really important so you can clearly differentiate yourself from your peers and everyone else doing pretty much the same thing as you, so you can do it in a different way that it's loyal to your own beliefs. Now we're finally diving into all the Pinterest boards, all the makeup, clothing, set design, and all the visual part, the things that people are actually gonna notice and see. Hello, I'm Valkyria with an I have a degree in audiovisual communication and multimedia. I work currently on marketing, and I've been obsessed with YouTube since I was 12. And this is the second episode about personal branding here on my channel. If you haven't seen the first one, please go check it out because it really will help you get the structure that we need for this video. In order to build our personal brand, we talk about a metaphor of building a person. In order to keep with that metaphor, we're gonna be talking about the clothes. Here is where all those Pinterest boards come into play, and you get to decide if you want to go with a cold color palette or something warmer, if you want to go with solids or you want to try some sort of print or everything else. It's totally up to you. And the magical and also complicated part is that there is not really a right or wrong way to go about it. And that comes because you can literally do anything, especially when we're talking about independent stuff like you do. You are the owner of the channel. If you want to do something, you just have to do it. So in a world where everything's right and nothing's wrong, how do you decide what to do with your personal branding so you don't end up making what everyone else is making? So you don't end up just copying and pasting what other YouTubers are doing. It's really important to know why you are taking certain decisions, even if the reason is budget, because let's be honest, not everyone can do a Mr. Beast because that requires a ton of money. And there are even YouTubers that have bought a special equipment so they can have unique angles that are not impossible to replicate, but the cost makes it really hard for everyone else to do it. So that can be one of your whys. Something that I learned in the career that really impacted the way I think about this is you can have also an emotional why, an emotional reason why you're deciding to go with one color over the other. I understood this when I was in an animation project for a children's series. For one of the episodes, we needed an iguana. And the girl in charge of the character design of that character came with 3 proposals. And for this, a little bit of context. In Colombia, we have a children's song that it's called La iguana tomaba café. On a part of the song, the lyrics goes, había una vez una iguana con una ruana de lana. The important thing here is the wool ruana. I don't know how to say that in English or if it even has like a proper translation.
Maybe the closest thing would be a poncho, but...
Probably a poncho. When the girl presented her designs, she said like, we have this iguana con una ruana de lana. Immediately, everyone in that room got it, and the director was like, don't even bother showing me the other to design that one. That's the one we need. That's the one we're gonna use. And it's a very simple reasoning because it's something that really connects with ourselves, with our culture, and our target audience. I am 100% sure that children nowadays also know about this song in Colombia because it's part of what we grow up with. And it's something that's gonna connect with both the parents and the children. So that was our reasoning. And that was the moment I really understood why the reason behind our thinking process is important. Yeah, sure, we learn about shots, like how certain being this close generates one effect, and if we are closer, it generates another effect on the viewer. The angles, the color, the lighting, all of that, it does have an impact. But depending on the context, everything can change. And when you have a why, like a strong emotional reason, it's something that people will get Eventually, if you are someone that loves watching all those behind the scenes videos where they're like, oh no, we decided to do this because of that, those are the things that are gonna help you connect. And some of the reasoning behind it, it can be like, we didn't have budget for something else. For example, I'm using this microphone because it was the cheapest I could find. And it's like a way to improve the quality of my videos that I really wanted to go for. And eventually, hopefully, I will have the microphones that goes here, but right now I am low on money. Now that we have that as our baseline, we're gonna go into what we call the departments of audiovisual production back when I was in university. We have 6 departments. We have the art department, photography, post-production that subdivides in editing and sound design, production and direction. Hello, Editing Valkyra here. So a quick note is that we're gonna be thinking about this as something that we are doing alone, because that's what I'm doing. I'm doing the YouTube channel all by myself. When we're talking about a bigger production, each department will have different people in charge of their things. But right now we're gonna just have like a basic big stroke of what each department does and what you should think about it when you're working on your own content by yourself. And yeah, let's go back to the video. So first we're gonna start with direction and production. While those are different departments, for the sake of this video, we're gonna take them as one. And they're not really part of the cloth metaphor that we're gonna be using for the visual part of your personal branding. They're more the time management and the budget. If you have a very, very high budget and a lot of time every morning when you're getting ready, you can try different outfits, you can try different combos, and if you don't like it, you can always start over again, and that only happens when you have the time to do that. Even if you decide to do it the night before, it also depends on the amount of energy you have at night to really think deeply about your outfit. I don't know about you, but I always have outfits that are like my go-to when I don't really want to think what to wear. It's like the shirt, shoes, and that's it. I'm not gonna think about it. And that's something that production manages. They manage the resources you have, the money you have, and the time. While direction will be like the general vibe. Each department will have its own head, and each department will think things differently. The one that is in charge of making sure that the shirt and the pants go well together will be direction. And it's, again, a totally subjective thing. Direction is the one that decides what's the true north that we're gonna be following. Then we go with sound design. Something that people will definitely not see, but they will get it. Now, this is more in the context of an audiovisual thing. If you want to save some cost, sound can be like a very important department. And in this metaphor, we're gonna think about it as the personality and the smell of a person. The sad part about the sound department is that most people will not notice it, and you know it is well done, you don't notice it. But the moment something is off, you will notice. So once again, with the metaphor of the perfume, when a person doesn't have like a particular smell, it's like, okay, like neutral. You just overlook it. If they use a lot of cologne to the point that it's overwhelming, it's like too much. Or if they don't really take showers, you will also notice because they will smell bad. It's something you can't see, but it will definitely affect the way you interact with the other person. Same here. In these audiovisual products, the sound is something that you don't want people to be thinking about, but you want them to know it's there. The sound department is in charge of the voiceover, that's the purpose of this microphone. Sound effects like this. Music and ambient. And those are really important, especially when we're talking about short films. If I put you right now some sort of cafeteria noise, you're gonna feel like we are in a cafeteria. It depends a lot on what you are going for. And the best part about sound design is that it can really improve in a really cheap way your production. A quick example was a teacher of us. He needed to do like a scene where a car was falling off a cliff. There are several challenges here. First, Colombia doesn't really have cliffs. Most of our mountains end in the coast, like they are really there's no mountains like go like this. The second one was the budget, because they did not have money to throw away an actual car. So what they did was they fixed it with sound. They did have enough budget to digitally cut half of the mountain so it looked like a cliff. They took a shot of the car going, I think it was going up, and then they just reversed it. And right before the car disappeared in the mask that they did, they just cut to the character like going, oh no, what's going on? And looking down, and the sound of was there. So the viewer knew what was happening because of the sound, and that saved them a lot of money because they didn't need to throw a car or find an actual cliff. So there are a lot of things that you can get with sound design that really help you. It's a very important department that a lot of people look over, and it's very powerful if you know how to use it. Then we have what I like to think of as the accessories and a little bit of the underwear, that it's the art department. The art department is pretty much everything that it's on set. This cushion, this toy, earrings, the makeup, everything you see, the background, all of that is in charge of the art department. A lot of those things are details that people will not notice. So, for example, I see a lot of people that forget like to notice, I don't know, rings, bracelets, necklace. Like it's just something that they pass over. But there are also people that love all these things, so they're like, oh no, I love your earrings, I love your necklace, I love da, 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 da. Some of those details might pass by, but they are there, and that gives context, and that gives like a deeper meaning to the things that we are seeing. What I like to think of the external clothes, like the shirt, the jacket, the pants, like the thing that you usually see, is both photography department and the post-production department. Those two are in charge of the final product. Those two are in charge with the sound design, but we already established that you don't see the sound. Those two are in charge of whatever the viewer is gonna see. Right now, the photography department decided that this was gonna be the framing of this shot. This framing doesn't really allow you to see a lot of this. The art department put it there, and that's gonna give you a little bit of background. As you can see, this is a Studio Ghibli poster thingy that I bought a long time ago, and that lets you know that I like Studio Ghibli. But if I move the frame like this, you're not gonna be able to see it. Some people might know, some people might have been able to recognize it just by the corner of the thing, but those are details that a lot of people are not even gonna pay attention to, because the main focus in this kind of framing and this kind of video is my face or the graphics that I'm gonna be showing throughout the video. That's why I say that the art department, it's a little bit like the underwear and the accessories that not a lot of people notice. In post-production, you can do things like changing the colors of the video, you can do overlays, add special graphics, typography, you make the rhythm of the video. It is very different if I try to cut every single second, every single pause that I make during this, or if I allow you to be with me when I'm talking a little bit slower. And the photography department is the one that decides what the camera will see. It doesn't matter that I had that Ghibli thing here. If the photography department doesn't decide to show it, you will not see it. So the art department can put it there, but at the end of the day, photography and post-production are the ones that get to decide what to do. Now, here is the funny thing. Those departments actually overlap a lot, and we have to get like in some sort of middle ground between the photography department and the art department. What things are actually important to show in camera to know more about this character, to know more about the image we're building. How do we show the character without having to tell about them? Simple things. Like, for example, this is a white background. It doesn't really tell you a lot about myself, but these kind of patterns are a bit of a reference to the fact that in Colombia, one of the things we most export are flowers. Specifically from Medellin. I am not from there, but I am Colombian. This thing, to whoever is a circus fan, they know this comes from Cirque du Soleil. So I like circus, I like Cirque du Soleil, I like fluffy stuff. You can see this. Earlier it was more visible, but I have a stitch here. I have a chimney that a friend made for me. It's a handmade chimney, I love it. So those kind of details are things that most people will think like, oh, it's just something cute in the background. But that is giving you information about me. I like this kind of stuff. So what's the image that you want to show and how you want to show it?
I like plushies and I like BT21 and Stitch and I haven't seen the live action and I'm not gonna and I like yada 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 yada.
You want to share that, or you want to show it in a more subtle way with your background, with your clothes, with everything else. Maybe with little sneak peeks that we're gonna give here and there. All of those things are part of your branding. So finally, remember when I said that we are gonna be balancing everything? That is a constant work whenever you're doing something audiovisual. You have to balance a lot of stuff. Right now I'm going with this background because I want to paint my wall eventually. But this works because in the previous video I did not talk in my room, but now I have the microphone and I don't want to move it. So that's a limit that I have. I have the microphone and trying to move it will be a little bit inconvenient. So I have to be here. How do I make this white background a little bit more interesting? Well, I sit down in my bed and I add these little details and I might paint something eventually. And all those things, it gives a little bit more personality, but it also defines that I'm gonna have to have this kind of shot where it's really close, because at the end of the day, the main focus of this video is what I'm saying with a close shot. You have to think more about makeup and like the little details that are gonna be close to the camera than the background, for example. So here I thought about my makeup. I didn't want the shot to be this close because I also wanted to be able to add certain layers, and if I did it this close, there's not enough space. I feel cramped. But like this, I have enough space to actually move a little. You get to see a little bit of my hands and a bit of the background that gives it personality. If I go for this kind of shot, you get to see a lot more of my background and a lot more of my outfit. Previously, I could have been wearing whatever. I could have been in underwear or shorts and you would have never known because you were only seeing up to this part. But now you see this light that it's actually part of the lighting that I was deciding. You see the water bottle, you see a little bit of more of my plushes, you see a bit of my mask. These kind of shots give you the chance to add more details. So for example, I could add a lot of stuff in my background that will help you see a little bit more of my personality and will help frame stuff. However, what I need is a microphone. If I don't have a microphone in these kind of shots, the sound is gonna be pretty bad, especially if I go even further away, because you are not close to the camera microphone. Each shot has its own necessities, and you have to think which one you can actually fulfill. For me, the best option is something closer like this. It allows me to have space here to add any words of or graphics that I want to have. I'm still kind of in a third in the composition, and I can have the light here without showing in the frame, which is something that I like, and a natural light source here. Which ones are your priorities? All of those details are what really make your channel yours, and when you have a wrong reason behind it, it makes it so that people that will see you will connect with you eventually. Now, I know this was a lot of information, but I really want you to sit down and think of each department, of each part of this. What do you want your content to look like, to sound like, to feel like? And all of those ideally should be based on the work we did previously, on your unfair advantages, on the reason why you are doing things, on the structure that you are following. If you want to throw spaghetti up the wall and see what sticks, probably you can experiment a lot more with every single department in every video. If you want to go for something that it's a bit more subtle, probably you should decide for one specific background and maybe one specific aesthetic. Another reason this white background actually kind of works is because I am not in white. I am actually in a patterned shirt, and that makes me stand out from the background. I want to add something music related because I want to make it clear that this channel is not only going to be about marketing, but also about my musical journey, my journey into discovering my own music style. So that's something that I'll be adding eventually. In the next video, we're gonna be diving deep into my writing process. I want to be a producer and songwriter and singer, like everything music related, but I don't know anything about it. So we're gonna be learning together. If you want to see that, you can check it right here. And I gotta go to class because I'm gonna be late, but I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye. I have used a little bit of my credit card this month, but we're not gonna go into those details. So, deja de ser feliz, no me juzgues!
Yo no he dicho nada.
Te reíste justo cuando dije la iguana toma café.
Pude haber estado haciendo otra cosa.
No te creo. ¿Estás haciendo otra cosa?
Estaba viendo memes en Pinterest.
Te reíste por la iguana toma café.
Y la iguana
Tomaba café.